Thank you for coming back and joining me for another video. I'm always talking about emotionally intelligent kids, how we can become emotionally intelligent parents, and all about that kind of stuff that just brings the calm back to our home. It means we can enjoy our kids and enjoy their company and feel connected to them. And today I'm talking about a particular emotion, which is anger. Okay, so for some this actually might be an uncomfortable topic or an uncomfortable emotion to talk about. But you know what? If we don't talk about this stuff and we don't talk about what it means, where it's coming from, its benefits as well, then we're not going to be able to leverage the benefits of knowing how to manage our anger. Managing it as a parent, and then of course on the flip side, teaching our kids how to manage their anger. This is a huge topic in basically parenting in general. Parents are always talking to me about my kids blow up. They can't manage their emotions. They're so angry, they're so loud. At the smallest thing, they will have a tantrum. So I get it, I hear that. And that was me as well. Years ago, before I started learning about emotional intelligence, I was like, wow, like my kids are having these big emotions. Their behavior is so challenging. How do I manage this? How do I not get triggered every 2 seconds of the day? So today I want to talk a little bit about anger, like I said. And really, I think sometimes we don't even actually know the definition of anger. Like what actually is, what makes up that emotion? What is underneath it? And like I said, kind of what does it mean? Where is it coming from? If we don't understand that stuff, like the foundational stuff, we're not really going to be able to navigate when we are angry, diffuse those big angry feelings if we need to. We're not going to be able to make the best of those emotions. And I probably say this too much, but I'm going to say it again. Emotions are energy in motion. Emotions are highly intelligent assessments about interpersonal functioning. That goes for us as parents, as adults in the workplace, and for our kids at home or in the classroom. So we need to treat emotions as actually highly valuable data or information that can teach us something. So same with anger. I'm getting into it. Anger is, if we think about the actual definition of anger, anger is a feeling of injustice toward ourselves or to others we care about. It's also that feeling of unfairness. So the thing about anger is that people often think of it as bad. If our kids are angry, we think they're naughty. If they are angry, we don't want to see it. It's uncomfortable for us. I've worked with parents who've said, I realized when I was a kid, if I looked angry, then my parents would get frustrated, get upset, squash that down, maybe send us to our rooms. If I was saying I'm angry or stomping my feet and using like angry language, then that was not tolerated. So doesn't that say to our kids, and like if that's how we were treated when we were young, that is saying anger is bad, not appropriate. We don't want to see it, squash it down, put it away. So think about that, the fact that anger is actually that feeling of injustice and unfairness, okay? Can you see the threads between that and how anger actually helps us set our boundaries? It helps you protect your sense of self and your individuality, like your place in the world. So if you're angry over something, then it's because a boundary's been crossed, right? Something unfair has happened. And anger is beneficial in the way that it helps you stand up and take your space in the world and say, hey, that's not okay or that's not right. I don't know about you guys, but I want my kids to be able to do that now that they're young and when they are 10, 15, 20. Like I always come back to that concept. I had a conversation a while ago with someone and I was thinking about, I want my son and daughter when they are 15, 16, 17 to be able to think, This is not okay with me. That is unfair. You're pushing on my boundaries. I'm feeling this anger. I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to speak up. I don't want them to squash that down and be a people pleaser and think, okay, I'll do it because everyone else is. Hell no. No, thank you. So we can't squash that in our kids now. I know it's uncomfortable sometimes to see when our kids are angry, but we have to allow the emotion, not necessarily the behavior. Allow that emotion and say, yeah, I get it. You're really angry. That's okay. And then talk about it, work it out, problem solve it, whatever has to go on. But it's that concept of allow the anger, right? So, two really important things that parents often forget, and I'll put my hand up, I'm human, I've done this too. First one is that without enough anger, we will tend to give up our position and our individuality as people. Imagine people who, and this was me when I was younger, I didn't get angry very much. It wasn't not allowed, but I, for some reason, learnt to be polite and quiet and kind and do the right thing and say the right thing. And I had that anxiety, like you guys I've talked about in other videos. I didn't get angry very often, and even now I realize I'm not a hugely angry person, expressing that anger. And without enough anger, like a healthy level, one, it means I'm bottling up my frustrations. And again, I don't want my kids to be able to have to do that. But it means you can potentially become a people pleaser and a yes sir person, a yes man, whatever they call that. And it means you lose your individuality, where your boundaries are, where your lines are, and what makes you up who you are. So that's the dangers of not having too much anger. We all will get angry. It's so natural, so normal. We're human. We can't allow or encourage our kids to squash that down and put it away. Second thing is, with too much anger, we can continually start to infringe on the rights of others and offend other people. And that's detrimental to our relationships. We know if we're constantly angry and upset at our kids, what's that doing to them? What message is that sending them? And if we are not helping our kids manage their anger and navigate it, that is detrimental to them too. So, something really interesting is that anger has 3 levels of intensity, like with any emotion. But let's go through the ones for anger. When you feel like a low level of anger or low intensity, this might be when you're feeling irritated, annoyed, impatient, displeased, or cranky. So we know we've all felt that sometimes. Have a think about when I'm reading through these, where do you draw the line between where you're comfortable with your own anger and with your kids' anger? Where is that line for you, and can you broaden it? The middle layer of anger is when you might be aggravated, inflamed, resentful, or riled up. So that's kind of bubbling up to the surface. And then when you have a high intensity of anger, that is when you might be feeling really quite aggressive, appalled, seething, vengeful, wanting to get revenge, hostile, or irate. That's that kind of level of rage. So where do you draw your line? Where do you feel comfortable? Where are you like, nah, that's not okay, with yourself and in your kids as well? So powerful to think about. There are some questions that you guys can ask yourselves when you're feeling angry, to kind of unpack what's underneath it. And understanding where your anger comes from, or your child's, if something happens and they come to you and they're so angry, they are, they're feeling that rage and lashing out. Have a think about these questions too. And that's something else that I often talk about, is looking beneath the behavior. Never ever look at what's on the surface, at the behavior, or without sort of putting your lens, your parenting, emotionally intelligent parenting lens on. That's a disservice to you and your kids. So look deeper. First question is, what do I value here? If I'm really angry about something, what do I value? That can also be like, what is important to me here? Second one is what must be protected here. So what is something that, like, a boundary has been crossed or pushed, or my rights have been infringed on or offended? What must be protected? What needs protecting? Maybe it is my time with my kids, so I'm going to say no to that work. My belongings, whatever it is, my values. So the third one is what needs restoring here. Sometimes that might be around restoring communication. I need to speak up and be more assertive, or restoring balance in a situation. So the last question I would say is ask yourself, not so much like a why is this happening? Oh my God, why am I so angry all the time? But a what or a how question, which is what those three are. What can I do to move through this? What do I need to do or say? Or how can I solve this problem and move on? So start thinking about what and how questions. They're so much more practical and effective and powerful, rather than the why questions. Why does this happen? Why do I ask you 5 times and you're still doing the wrong thing? Why every day do you make a mess of your bedroom you know not to? Useless. So I hope that was really beneficial for you guys. I think when we look a little bit deeper underneath emotions, particularly anger, we can unpack why they are coming up. We can recognize them, first of all, why they're coming up. We can understand what has caused them. We can, again, be able to talk about it, label it, use some of those really nuanced emotion vocabulary like irritated, annoyed, impatient, irate, displeased, cranky, and also start to be able to express it to people around us appropriately so we can regulate it. Okay, just so we can leverage some of those emotions and not let them run us, if that makes sense. All right, that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching along and listening along. I would absolutely love that if you guys are interested in emotional intelligence, in emotionally intelligent parenting and raising emotionally intelligent kids, then please come along over on Facebook to my group called Let's Raise Emotionally Intelligent Kids. I will put the link and all the info in the description here, and I would love you guys if you could also subscribe here to my channel so you don't miss any other videos on raising emotionally intelligent kids. Okay, have a great afternoon, guys. See ya.